Hey y'all, hey, let's get into this intuitive reading, this intuitive message. I'm zoomed out. I want to make sure I'm zoomed out. Okay. This intuitive reading, this intuitive message for Savannah James. All right. These cards fell on the floor. So this reading is alleged and for entertainment purposes. Sometimes the tea is hot and sometimes it's not. You have to watch the video to the end to determine for yourself. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're always here, welcome back, friend. Okay, so somebody the other day hit me up. A good friend was like, hey, let's get into Savannah James. Let's get into it. Okay, so Spirit is acknowledging right off the bat, because her question was more so around this podcast. I didn't even know she was getting ready to start a podcast or had started one. So this is the energy around the podcast and just, her overall energy. Spirit is acknowledging that she is focused on layering a cake, layering the cake, adding a layer to the cake. So she's focused on a little something I threw together. So this could be in relationship to the podcast for sure. Accomplishment, triumph, self-esteem, confidence, talents, accolades, and fame. She wants to get grounded at the heart of it. She also wants peace. I see a lot of blue, which means communication. And Spirit said, if that ain't truth, grits ain't groceries. Don't ask me nothing else. It's egg on your face first too. So there might be a little bit of issue with this podcast, but believe it, trustworthiness, watch for signs, intuition, lucidity, the real deal. Now this has a lot to do. I don't know if her marriage will come up in this podcast, but there may be a lot of energy around relationship or around dating someone that you knew, and just take the download at a lower scale versus when they become, rich and famous. Okay, Spirit, rich and famous. Okay. So there's an energy of communication. There's also an energy of passion. There's also an energy of the heart chakra. I don't know her element, but I do see water making me feel like someone could be a water sign or just creating a lot of emotion. But this is her because this relationship is a karmic relationship. And is this the relationship with the person in the podcast or is this the relationship with LeBron? Well, I see pink. It makes me feel like passion. So I would venture to say that this is talking about the relationship with, Mr. Lover is what energy is saying. Okay. So it makes me feel like, thank you, Spirit, there's a lot going on within the relationship. And this could definitely bring a shadow over it if she divulges too much information. But again, this stomping in this water and creating this splash is for her to see her reflection. Why are you here? Are you taking accountability and responsibility for your actions? Because in this, everyone has a choice. You don't understand what I'm saying? On the surface, like I always say, good choices equal good karma and bad choices equal bad karma. She's also acknowledging that with this water sign, I see water in the back, that she's trying to get away. Okay, wanting to go away, wanting to get away to deal with something. She feels like she has very little power with this yellow here. This makes me feel like solar plexus energy. I have very little control, very little power. So I take my little trips. I do this, I do that. I try to get away. Okay, and I'll deal with it when I deal with it, when I deal with it. Now, what is she dealing with? It feels like she's dealing with a lover. Okay, a lover, her lover. Be that LeBron. Again, this reading is alleged, but it's starting to feel like there's someone else. There's a third party because this is someone who he's hugging and kissing up on. And this gives me a lot of solar plexus energy. And I will not lie to you guys. I always tell you when I get the download, I say the download. There could be an energy of, there's an energy of her possibly having someone on the side as well. This is interesting, right? But this doesn't fall too far from the Holly Weirds. Okay, because they do some weird stuff, not my business, not my problem. But there is an energy, thank you, Spirit, of someone kissing and hugging up on somebody else. This is their boo. This is who they pillow talk. And it just makes her feel very lazy, very full of inertia. Very tired, very drained, no response, like a lump on a log, a bump on a log. And so now here she goes. She's a lot of communication. Again, this could be in relationship to the podcast. Energy is near her and is watching her like, what you about to do now, girl? I do see white, which lets me know that she, at the heart of it, she wants peace. But there is a musical instrument in one end playing music, trying to drown out the noise. And then there's a beverage in the other to escape the mind, the feeling, the emotion. At the heart of it, she needs to get grounded. There is a practice of divination, of prayer, blowing off steam, rebellion, merriment, overindulgence, okay? And Spirit just keeps telling me that she's trying to add a layer on the cake. Like, you're not the only one that's a boss, baby. All right, so in regards to the podcast, Yeah, it's just going to be a hotter than blue blazes. It's going to be talking about passion, sensuality, amorousness, an instant crush. She also needs to get a spiritual bath. Again, it comes up that she's in a karmic relationship, and this has past life karma on it. And in the middle of the deck, this is a one-horse town, and there's monotony and boredom here, and she needs to branch off and move on. It just wants to keep talking about her relationship, and her relationship feels like it will be brought up within the podcast. This obstacle could be easily maneuvered, easily mastered. But she chooses to stay on this side of the fence because she feels like the grass is greener, but it's keeping her away from her purpose, her home, and her strength. Okay. So this is really interesting. And because Spirit just wants to keep bringing it up, let's just go ahead and get this out. What is the relationship between Savannah and, soul tie? It's karmic. She's bandaging her heart. She's been wounded in this relationship. There's been deadly words with LeBron. And then there's a sexual healing. And it keeps acknowledging that there is someone doing something other than what they're supposed to be doing with their spouse. This reading is alleged and for entertainment purposes, needing to get grounded in the relationship. So what is the overall energy around her podcast? Will it be successful? Thank you. Interesting. Okay, so Spirit is acknowledging this podcast feels like she is connecting, intertwining with the right vibe, the right energy, almost like a soulmate, almost like this was destined for her. Water again, water sign energy, or just acknowledging that this is going to be very emotional. As you can see on the front of this, we do see a marriage. So again, it feels like this could be brought up on the podcast, coming into union though. So this is divinely hers. This podcast will help her have this voice. Meant to be fated relationships. This could be a creative collaborator or a platonic relationship or a romantic connection. This card means your purposes and journeys have run parallel and are finally joining to a smooth ride. Soulmates are not free of the effects of time or bad behavior. You are still required to exercise free will, be a good counterpart, thank you Spirit, and recognize when a relationship has run its course. So it feels like, yes, this is going to be good for her, but she's also going to be acknowledging, like, through healthy communication, that her relationship has gone through some blows. And it feels like it's to say, like, this ain't that, y'all. We dealing with it too. There is an energy of a loved one, a deceased one, who wants to come through and speak to her. And this is the message. I can't really make out. It's interesting whether this is an older male or an older female. It feels like both. It makes me want to say aunt. It makes me want to say uncle. It even makes me want to say dad. There are people that are trying to push through. And the message though is the same from all of them. Love. Love is the foundation of your experience and your existence. And you're just as worthy of receiving as you are of giving love and compassion. So it feels like she's giving but not receiving. And so they are coming through to say, no, you deserve to give and receive. While love can be a beautiful emotion, it is equally a form of energy that propels you through life. And so they want her to remember to love, and that it is one of the most highest vibrations that we can exude here in this realm. It feels like, and it's crazy because it's like they don't want me to stop talking to her. There's another message from them. I'm sorry, I gotta say them because this is definitely not one. What's your other message to Savannah James? I don't know what her name was before James. Sorry. Thank you. Said that she's dealing with grief. There's something about them just acknowledging like she is sad. Acknowledging that she's giving, but she doesn't feel like she's completely receiving. Orange makes me feel like a lot of emotion. I understand that losing something is an opportunity to appreciate it. And so they want her to know, like, you deserve to be loved. You're going to be dealing with grief if you haven't dealt with grief yet. But that's okay, because there's a lesson in the blessing. Okay. What is Savannah supposed to learn from this podcast? that was the subscriber's main focus was, will it be successful? What is the energy around it? Thank you. Guilt. I release any belief that no longer assists me in my soul's growth. So she's going to be definitely gaining a lot of information, learning a lot, releasing a lot of guilt. This is healthy communication. It is going to be hard though. In regards to hard, I'm just saying topics. The topics that are, thank you, Spirit, that will be brought up will be hard to discuss. Now, what's the energy between her and LeBron? Thank you. Somebody is crying. Someone is threatening. Someone is intimidated. Someone is bothered. They're a spiritual hater. Hates on her spirituality, light, magic, and power. Well, it doesn't shock me. He's in Hollyweird. There's an energy that he is into her. They do have good chemistry, great vibes, and positive. But in the middle of the deck, there's a lot of confusion in their relationship, this way, that way. This is crazy. Played out. It's all over TV because he's a player, if you understand what I'm saying. And there's also an energy of marrying someone for money, and that there is a romantic love affair. Someone is having an affair. And again, this reading is alleged. I don't know them. They don't know me. We don't know each other. This reading is alleged and for entertainment purposes. Okay. Is Savannah going to start a big business? In regards to the podcast, what's the overall energy? Okay. There is an energy of her chasing love. There's also an energy of her being a drama starter around this. And there's also an energy of a dirty offer. So be careful with who you're doing business with around this podcast. I do have this feeling like people are really going to tune in because she is so quiet, like the subscriber had mentioned. But there's going to be an energy of, it's just going to have some interesting comments or opinions around it, that she could be chasing love, that she's a drama starter when it comes to certain things, that topics that are going to be brought up, and that there is a dirty offer within this as well. Spirit is also acknowledging that he's going to be ignoring her around this. It's also going to be an energy of being ghosted. There's the other day, it was so interesting because I had said it when I was doing a reading, and now Spirit is guiding me to repeat it because it connects to this situation. And that was, remember, what is neither said nor known cannot be envied or destroyed. So be careful what you say. Spirit is also saying be careful what you ask for. Okay. All right. Let me move this over here. Let's get into it. All right. Savannah James, current energy. The moon. Things are getting ready to be brought up regardless of whether she likes it or not. It's coming to the surface. It's going to be giving her or making her feel like she's full of anxiety, despair. There are hidden enemies. What's done in the dark comes into the light. There's going to be an energy also of her having to return home because there's delays and nowhere to go. Spirit is saying that she's going to be slow to recover, feeling very burnt out with a lack of self-care, with the Four of Swords, negative self-talk. What's the energy around this podcast? Six of Cups. So she's going to be talking about the past, thinking of the past. She's got a support system. There's also an energy that she might be talking about childhood issues, childhood trauma, healing her inner child, that kind of stuff. It is emotional for her. Also, she feels like this is a new plan. This is mental clarity. This makes her feel like victorious communication. We're talking about the podcast. And she feels like she's making the right decision subconsciously. In the middle of the deck, though, this is the Fool in reverse. There's a lack of direction, stupidity, and carelessness. And why is that? Why is this coming up? Please clarify. Spirit is acknowledging because it's going to bring about some energy of a big change. Air sign energy, rebellion, hero, her being direct and also impulsive. There's also manipulation, abuse, and a dangerous man. So there's it feels like he doesn't like it. He doesn't like how much she's talking about. Let's get into it. LeBron James, how does he feel about the podcast? If it even happens, because there's now an energy of saying there could be some blocks on his part. All right, with the King of Swords, the king, don't they call him the king, King James? Yeah. Okay, so masculinity, law, authority, wise man, intelligence, hitting the gavel. He feels like this is going to bring an energy of someone, or feeling like unfocused, a bully, and a missed opportunity with the Knight of Swords. But he feels like this energy is drawn toward him, like, you're going to paint me out to be blah, 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 blah. You know, also with the Three of Swords, this is going to bring trauma, heartbreak, loneliness, grief, and crying. And it's making him feel like this energy of her being forceful, domineering, and a weak leader with King of Wands. This also presents him. He's very, very concerned about how this is going to make him feel. Like he's forceful, domineering, and a weak leader, and how she feels. It makes him feel like she's coming off like the husband, almost like, you want to be the man? You want to wear the pants? That's kind of energy that's coming home. Look, again, returning home, delay, nowhere to go, with the Six of Swords in reverse, negative self-talk, because things that were suppressed and things that were not seen, unheard, are now coming to the surface. And what you do in the dark comes to the light, creating anxiety, fears, hidden enemies. Okay? OMG. What's next for Savannah James? Oh, okay. All right, so Spirit is acknowledging a bad reputation in the area of entrepreneurship due to a lack of focus and a boring job, with the Four of Pentacles creating this energy for her to be very materialistic, very possessive, holding on to things too tightly. But with the Nine of Pentacles, she is going to make some money off of it. So if that was her focus, she's about to get a big independent woman. There's an energy of pregnancy. Could be a pregnancy and or could be a manifestation, but wealth and a thriving business. It just doesn't, it feels like you gained the whole world but lost your soul. Unfaithful, corruption, greed, with the King of Pentacles. This pun on king, thank you, Spirit. But this energy is brought up in her relationship, which keeps saying over and over again that someone is lying, someone is manipulative, someone is a thief, someone has risky behavior, and someone is getting away with it. Okay, this reading is alleged, and for entertainment purposes, now we sit back and let the universe do what the universe does.